Country Kitchen approved for Twiniversity. I'm your host, Courtney. I've got my mom with me here today, and we're in her kitchen.
Hi, I'm Carrie. So glad to have you with us today. We are going to be showing you how to make some Christmas candy classics.
3, 4. We want candy. We want candy. We want candy.
I'd like to talk to you just a moment about making candy on an electric glass top stove. I wish I had gas. That's perfect for making candy, but I have an electric glass top. So I have found that it takes a little bit longer for the candy to reach a certain temperature. So you need to start out a little higher to get it going, and then of course you turn it down. This is a classic fudge recipe that is very simple using marshmallow cream. I've learned a few tips along the way, however, so I want to show you that today.
In a saucepan over medium-high heat, melt together 3/4 cup butter, 3 cups sugar, and 2/3 cup evaporated milk. Stir together to combine. Place a candy thermometer in your pan for accurate temperature reading, but don't allow it to touch the bottom of the pan. Stir constantly to prevent burning. Once it begins to boil, reduce the heat to medium and bring to a full rolling boil for 4 minutes, or until the thermometer reads 234 degrees.
Why do we make fudge and divinity only at Christmas time?
Well, because that's what my grandmother used to do. It just was the neighborly thing to do, to make candies and give them out as gifts.
Remove from the heat and stir in a 12-ounce bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Stir until combined. Then add 1 teaspoon of vanilla and a 7-ounce jar of marshmallow cream. Stir and stir and stir until it turns smooth and glossy. And lastly, add 1 cup of chopped pecans and stir to combine.
As the fudge is cooling in the pan, you still want to continue to stir it as it cools, because I don't know if you've been to a fudge shop or something where they are making candy, but they'll put fudge out on a big slab and just kind of flatten it out and then roll it up or whatever. Basically, that's what you're doing in here, is just by stirring it a little bit until it slightly cools. You got to remember, it's still very hot.
Line a pan with foil and spread out the fudge as evenly as you can using a spatula. Allow to cool completely and cut into cubes.
What's the best way to store your fudge?
I like to store my fudge in a tin. I line it with foil. I don't know why, but I think it seals in the moisture a little bit and keeps it from drying out. It keeps really well. I don't know.
And it's very cute for gifts. Next, I'm going to show you an easy microwave peanut brittle recipe.
In a large glass bowl, place 1.5 cups of Spanish peanuts, 1 cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, or you could just use salted nuts, and 1/2 cup of corn syrup. Stir to combine. Microwave for 4 minutes at 80% power. Remove and stir and microwave again for 4 minutes at 80% power. Then stir in 1 teaspoon of butter and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Put back in the microwave for a final time for 2 minutes, again at 80% power. Have a greased baking sheet ready because the next step goes pretty quickly. Add a teaspoon of baking soda and stir until light and foamy. Immediately pour onto the baking sheet and spread out as thinly as you can. Allow to cool and break apart.
Next, we're going to show you how to make divinity, but it should be called definicky, because conditions have to be just so.
I've been making divinity for years, and it turns out about half the time. I've learned a few tricks that I'm going to show you.
It may take you a few tries, but it's totally worth it when you get it right because it's so good.
In a saucepan over medium-high heat, combine half a cup of water, 2 cups of sugar, a pinch of salt, and a half a cup of corn syrup. Meanwhile, beat 2 egg whites to stiff peaks. Place a candy thermometer in your pan, and once the syrup starts to boil, reduce the heat to medium.
Here's your syrup, and it has been boiling now for probably about 10 minutes, but it's come to a softball stage. And this is your candy thermometer, but before they would have a thermometer to use, they would put it in cold water to see if it had come to a softball stage. So I'm going to pour a little bit into cold water, and then I'm going to reach in there with my finger and see what comes up. And you have a little soft ball.
Slowly beat half of the syrup into the egg whites. Then put the rest of the syrup back on the heat until it reaches soft crack stage. Slowly beat the remainder of the syrup into the egg whites. Add 1 cup of chopped nuts and a teaspoon of vanilla. Add 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar and continue to mix until it is no longer glossy. Spoon onto wax paper and allow to cool. Divinity also stores well in tins. No matter what holiday goodies you make, just remember to enjoy time with family and to have fun.
Glass top.